Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Gwent Mechanics. I'm Vanitas, and today I'm going to teach you about the single most important mechanic in Gwent, Card Advantage. The concept itself is pretty simple, but it's often the decisive factor that separates the winners from the losers. If you're used to the concept of Card Advantage from other card games and are new to Gwent, forget everything you know because it manifests itself quite a bit differently in this game. Today we will cover why Card Advantage is important, why turn order is important, the coin flip, and spies, which are the two main ways card advantage is determined and changed throughout the game. So what is card advantage? Card advantage is having more cards to play than your opponent, through more efficient use of cards early in the game. For example, if I beat you in round 1, and we use the same number of cards, but in round 2 you need to spend one extra card to beat me, I have an extra card at my disposal in the last round. That's gaining one card advantage, and for most matchups, a one card advantage heading into the final round is as good as determining the winner of the game. That's card advantage, and pretty simple to understand. Now we'll cover why turn order is important. More often than not, we're going to head to round 3 with the same number of cards. In this case, the advantage goes to the player who gets to act last. Being the player who gets the last word is a very important position in Gwent, and this game is often won on this concept alone. Decks with a strong finisher, such as John Natalis into Commander's Horn, a potential 26-point play, want to go last so that their finisher has no chance to be countered. Meanwhile, control decks also want the last play, so they can control the demise of their opponent. For example, a player playing Bork wants to get the last chance to line up the Scorch effect so that his opponent will have no recourse. Having turn advantage is a little less important in tempo decks, but because you will often be facing against a deck with a big finisher or a control deck, you will still want to be able to have the last chance to stop the big finishing move, or to avoid the big swing control play, such as the Scorch card or Marigold's Hailstorm. If you've been playing the game for any substantial amount of time, you already have some concept of how important card advantage and turn order is. In this illustration, spades versus hearts, the numbered cards just represent their point value, and the face cards represent gold cards or bigger, more powerful cards. The queen represents the control card, an 11-point play that destroys the highest card on the other side of the board, and the king represents a power play, a 25-point card. In our first example, our control player, Hearts, goes first. We see the players play out their bronze cards first. We see the queen, in this instance, knock out a 9-point card, and the queen itself is an 11-point card for a 20-point swing. But then, spades plays the king card, worth 25 points, and wins the round. Now we'll see what happens in the other situation, where our spades player is forced to go first. The start of the round plays out the same, with both players being equal going to the final round. But this time, because Hearts goes last, the control player has a chance to knock out the power play. This time around, we'll give Hearts another tool, the Joker. The Joker represents 10 points, but is played on your opponent's side of the board. In Gwent, we call this kind of card a spy. And a couple examples are Taller and Cantarella. In return for playing cards on your opponent's side of the board, the spy cards let you draw another card from your deck, thus flipping turn advantage. In this illustration, we'll give Hearts the spy. Everything is the same as the last time, except now, Hearts has another tool at their disposal. As you can see, the round plays out as normal. Except, rather than being forced to play the queen before Spades plays his king, Hearts gives up some points to get the last play, and is able to knock out the king and take the victory, despite going first in this round. Well, that wraps it up for today. If you thought this video was fun or helpful, leave a like below. If you thought it sucked, give me a thumbs down. And if you want to see more like this, subscribe.